Hey man, check me out. I don't care what anybody has to say. I think that the hip hop culture is under attack from over sexualization. And my thing is like, how did we get here? Like, what the fuck? And so this video, I'm about to go into why the hip hop culture is looked at in this way. I got a lot of stuff to go over. Watch the whole video because, hey man, I'm about to go over a lot of good stuff. So when we start talking about the over sexualization, we start talking about hip hop. Hip hop is more than just the music, it's about the culture. Okay? And so over the last few years, you've seen where we're moving into YouTube, we're moving into podcasting, even into streaming. Okay? So some of the characters I'm gonna say, you can be like, what does that person have to do with it? They're in the culture. All right, so you got like Shannon Sharpe, him dealing with the recent sexual allegations placed on him, and even before the recent allegations, um, what happened with him when he had the little Instagram live mishap, and then on top of that, you got Kanye West and him talking about sex a lot, and of course, you know we gotta talk about the P Diddy trial. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out everything, and where I'm at is like it come down to common sense. Like you out here in the world, and you just be like, why I don't be seeing these, like regular people don't deal with these issues. They don't deal with these situations. It seems like Hollywood. Okay, granted, court cases happen all the time where people are into sexual allegations or what have you. You never know your neighborhood as far as who are sexual offenders, but it's just the Hollywood presence and the media honing in on it, especially as it's supposed to be deemed as something bad. It, it hits me in the way that I'm like, nah, this don't make sense if we look at it from the lens of common sense. And so I say all that to say who you are is sensible. Who you are is sensible. And people do crazy things to be successful. And I don't just mean like, okay, we say Kanye West, we say P. Diddy or Shannon Sharpe. I'm talking about the people that are indicting those individuals that I just named. And when you think about it, you can't get mad at it because in this world, it's about taking advantage of your resources. That's the definition of capitalism. Okay, so I can't get mad at it, and so um, just going a little bit deeper as far as the cases go, um, with Shannon Sharpe, and remember we talking about common sense too. He had $100 million deal on the table, all right, with ESPN, and then you got this young lady who ain't it ain't nothing really to talk about, and you giving her 10 million to shut up. It's like what in the world just happened? What happened behind closed doors? All right, and at the same time, for them to sue you for 50. All right, granted, if you're guilty, then you lose the $100 million deal, and you got caught for 50. But it's like at the same time, it's like all right, say you're not guilty, but then you already know how they gonna come. You're not worth 100 million. It don't got nothing to do with what you was saying on ESPN or your history of what you was talking about as it relates to sports. It's just because in the media's attention, especially ESPN being a public company, it brought down your value a little bit. And I wonder if it was done on purpose. Even if it meant, all right, we're going to send this girl or a set of girls out to Shannon Sharpe to see which one he going to bite on, which one he going to make the mistake on so we could bring his value down. Like I said, it's not so much the person that's doing it. Sometimes it might be the people behind the scenes that's doing the indicting, that's doing the accusations. And I'm not talking about the lawyers, just the people that's in power that's controlling these puppets. All right. And so, and then I can almost say the same thing for Diddy. Now, I was just looking at a recent a recent post, and it was just talking about Kanye West. He's like, nah, they can't control me. So the best thing they can do is paint this narrative to say I'm crazy, but it's just the fact that they can't control me. So they're trying anything, and I'm not losing nothing behind it, because whole time he said, hey, Adidas can't fire me. I'm like, let's see how this gonna play out. And then they fired him, but then slowly but surely they're trying to bring him back. And then the thing about Adidas is it's like all day I dream about sex. Okay, remember this whole video is talking about just the sexual allegations and the sexual promiscuity and everything about that topic as it relates to hip hop. But all day I dream about sex, yet not yet. So at the same time, you got your wife, and she's seen in a type of way that it seems like you're promoting the fact that it's a mirror. Like, this is y'all. This is all y'all thinking about is sex. You're not thinking about it as an outfit. And at the same time, I have to add in the fact that Kim Kardashian, she is his ex-wife, and you know how she was rocking as it relates to portraying herself in public. Okay, so I just think that's interesting that he can't be controlled, and look how he's acting. And if you listen to him, he's saying I'm purposely doing it because I can do anything. All right, and even with him talking about the situation with his cousin, you can't control me. That's the narrative. You can't control me. He's tried other ways. He tried, all right, I'm going to give myself to God, but it's just like, who's to say that even when you are fighting for God, that you got to do what's necessary to get the message across? That you're not going to follow the protocol, that you got to operate a certain type of way if you're going to be involved with the church. Okay? Especially when a lot of these inventions, a lot of these common things that we look at, such as money, or look at currency, which was invented not too long ago, like 100 or 200 years ago. When we start talking about the gospel of Jesus Christ, we're talking about something that was 2025 years ago. Okay, and so and that just brings me to my next point, as far as like, you can't be two-sided. You can't be two-sided, and I think that's what happened with Diddy, that he was being controlled, but then when you try to, like, nah, I'm my own person. Let me sue this brand. Mind you, everything they were talking about are public companies. All the shoes, the alcohol with Diddy, with the ESPN with Shannon Sharpe, these are public companies. Okay, and sometimes people will spend top dollar to make sure that their brand image, their brand appearance looks a certain type of way, and they'll be damned if they have a black person move up, especially when we're talking about the public. Everything is ran by foreigners. Okay, and I would at least say for Ye's part and everything I'm talking about, that he's exposing the fact that, like, nah, it's foreigners that's running this. This is a foreign government. We could talk about that in another video. All right. And so I just look at it like, man, you gotta be critical. You gotta really pay attention. Okay. You gotta pay attention, because, like, do you want to be influential or do you want to be famous? Okay. At the same time, do you want to be rich or do you want to be famous? Because when we're dealing with these foreign governments, when you're dealing with these entities, they got more money. These whales out here, they got more money to make sure that their image gonna look good, and don't mind swallowing you up, especially if you're gonna expose, especially if you're gonna bring in something that's new. They might buy you. Like, all right, we're gonna bring you into the fold because you got that great idea. So, when it comes to being critical, it's knowing how to balance both, or being focused, but analyzing when you went too far. And to me, that all deals with an identity crisis. Identity crisis is who you are morally, what principles you follow, at the same time, that's your own time to focus on like who you really are, where your experiences have really brought you. But at the same time, knowing that when we out here in public, and in public, not just coming to jobs, not just coming to the marketplace trying to sell something, but even when we come into our family, we're coming as a specific character. Okay, we're not perfect, but we can always keep working on the character. That's why they said going through obstacles, going through adversity, it helps build your character, making sure that your character can make it through anything. Okay, and that's why I have to know without a doubt that in character, you're walking by faith and you're not walking by sight. All right, and in doing that, you just if you understand your morals, you understand your principles, and you understand your goals based on those morals and principles, based on the content that was actually given to you through God, then you'll be able to better manage your time. And with managing your time, that you're being intentional with how your character is being deployed in the world. All right. And and I say character because for the longest, I used to keep it real, keep it real, keep it real, keep it real, and I think it's synonymous when people start realizing that the streets is a myth. Keeping it real, that's a myth, and I look at that saying as only being something that was directed to one set of people. However, another set of people are using their experiences, they're using things, they're using the adversarial moments, and adversarial not necessarily meaning something that was out of your control, but you just happen to have the willpower to do something that was in your control or something that you were supposed to do in the first place. Okay, and using it to become better as it relates to either fulfilling somebody else's dream or fulfilling your own, doing whatever it takes, in other words. All right. And so um, I look at it like when I'm talking about faith, it's like on earth as it is in heaven, as it relates to the Lord's Prayer. And, you know, I look at a Shannon Sharpe being tied down to ESPN, and I personally, I like Nightcap better. I like Nightcap as his best thing. The interviewing is cool. The Club Shay Shay is cool, but I think he should be in that lane doing. I mean, like I said, Nightcap. I think that's him in his bag, him in his natural environment. That's what he should concentrate on. Hey, you might not get that $100 million deal, but stay over here. Be humble. You already got money. Be humble and stay over here. It might be hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it is what it is, and you can grow that to somewhere where you can't even imagine. Okay, um, with Diddy, I look at that situation as far as like you want to own everything. You don't want to necessarily be under somebody else's brand, especially if you have a dream, especially if you have a vision, and don't let money be something that you sell your soul in at the end of the day. And I say with Kanye, man, he got to stop thinking that he is not enough. Like we hear you, man, we hear you. It's just like you don't gotta go too far. You know what I'm saying? Where you alienate the people that actually understand your message. Okay, and so all in all, like three secrets, three like takeaways from all of this is that I believe that there is a prevention in place to make sure that there is not another Jesus or a black Messiah. Okay, I think that another takeaway is we always been making babies. So when we're making sexualization as something bad, I think that's to depopulate the world overall. But from the past to now, we've always been making babies. So it's not. I don't think that as it relates to hip hop, because with hip hop and that culture, especially with black people, that's the genre, that's the format, that's the platform that's actually going to breed the black messiah. And so it only makes sense to have a bigger media or a bigger voice, or market that voice to make it seem that hip hop is the problem, okay? And the mannerisms and things that you're doing are inappropriate or they're irresponsible, like sex. You see what I'm talking about? And so my third reason why I think this is going on, or a secret that they may have, that this is why sexualization is running hip hop, is that you don't want to go after the obvious, and that is business and wealth. We don't want this community to go after business and wealth and stay away from things like sports, stay away from things like entertainment, and concentrate on using the resources at hand to uplift yourself and the people that's around you. Okay, so that's my take on everything that's going on. You tell me what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.